Well, we're kind of in the early afternoon here in Vancouver. I was kind of up late last night trying to decide if I should make this video, or at least approach it the way I'm going to approach it. And I eventually decided I should. Jeff Beck died. I found out yesterday, and it actually hit me in a really weird spot. Like it affected me more than I actually thought, like, something like that would, because in my life I've had a lot of icons of mine, people that I really admired, kind of pass, and actually a lot of my influences were gone even before I was playing guitar. And there was only two deaths of these artists that I've always looked up to and I never really met, that had this kind of effect on me. One was Prince, and I always regretted not making a video of talking about my feelings about Prince. So the second one is Jeff Beck, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about Jeff Beck, and not so much what his effect is on the world, and talk about his technique and why it's good and why he was important and the ridiculous influence he had. I wanted to talk about what he meant to me and my development, and maybe it'll help me understand why I'm kind of getting that feeling in my tummy when I'm thinking about him. So I wrote some notes down on my computer, and we'll keep it casual. And Jeff Beck, he's been one of the main guiding forces of what I always considered was like my bar when it came to tone, when it came to phrasing, and what was good, like what was good guitar. How we all have, like, we do stuff because our favorite artists do, like, some guys, I like, Jon Mi, I'll go for the thing he does, or Jimi Hendrix, and a lot of your decisions are based on Jimi Hendrix's taste. Jeff Beck is my guy. And I didn't even realize how much of my guy he was, but like, if he did something, that was the way it's supposed to be. If that, that is the way it's supposed, like, the first mod I ever did to my guitar was the Strat. I put lace sensors on it. Why? Because Jeff Beck's signature model at the time had lace sensors on it. I got into the Klon and like the Color Sound overdriver. I didn't get into the Color Sound because of David Gilmour. I didn't get into the Klon because of all these, it was Jeff Beck. That's why I got into it. It's like the craziness even extended to like how I even set up my guitars. Like here. This is a Friedman Strat, and all my Stratty guitars are floating just like how Jeff Beck floats his guitars. Like, they're like up, and I can get that special intervals like on the strings when I bend back. And the thing is, here's where it gets crazy. I don't even play guitar like that. My technique isn't about those bends and those intervallic leaps. And in reality, like the reality of things, I would probably be better served to deck my bridge, because I break so many strings and I'm so aggressive with the guitar. But for some reason, I have to do it this way. It would be sacrilegious, because that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how Jeff Beck does it. You know what I mean? And so all my Strats are like that. It's to that degree of crazy where I'm like being almost a detriment to myself in this chase of Jeff Beck. And I think it all started in this one Christmas I had. It was like the best Christmas a little boy can have that's playing guitar. I was like 2 or 3 years into it, and it was my first gear Christmas. Like, my sister got me a Russian big muff, or my sister and my parents did. And I don't even want to get into what happened to that big muff. And, I got strings in my stocking and picks, and I got strap locks, which was like a huge deal for me, so I could run around stage like a rock star and stuff. But the one present of that year that made the biggest influence on my life was from my aunt. And I got this Proco Rat. And I've talked about this countless times on my page on how this has been with me like day one all the way to like now, to this day. And when she gave me this, she also gave me 2 CDs, Best of Beck and Who Else? It was a Jeff Beck album. And in that letter, or that card, she wrote something to the effect of, here's the Proco Rat that was, recommended to me, and these are Jeff Beck albums. This is a guy who uses a rat. And So, when I think about Jeff Beck, I think about that, the start, the very beginning stages of me getting into music. And he's followed me. Like when I did my audition song to get into Berkeley, the audition tape, one of the songs I did was a Jeff Beck tune. When I graduated from college and I had to do my little student concert thing, one of the songs I picked in that concert was a Jeff Beck tune. I remember being at my parents' house with my band recording Brush with the Blues, Jeff Beck song, and my dad's aquarium was loud, and my drummer closed the door to his aquarium room, and the heat ended up caused by the closed door ended up killing his entire aquarium. But that's what I think about when I think of Jeff Beck. I think about my poor dad's aquarium. And, the funny thing about all of that is, so a couple weeks ago we had Christmas, or not Christmas, New Year's. And we were playing a New Year's show, and I had this on the board, this old steady pedal that's, and during the show, it started to frap out on me. And, it was kind of like, I don't know if the power supply or it's like, the caps or whatever, but it was not sounding good. I ended up unplugging it, and I was thinking to myself, in fact, I was literally just talking to the same aunt just 2 days ago about this. I was like, yeah, that it's probably time to retire the old Proco Rat. Maybe it's it's like put up on the mantle and have a little like a little thing for it and stuff, and maybe that's probably why the news hit me, because it's like the end of an era, and I guess maybe what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna fix this thing. I'm gonna go open it up and find out what caused it to go like that, because I got to keep that memory alive. So Jeff Beck was fearless. He was he represented to me what I always wanted to be as a guitar player in terms of the musical discovery part of it, because he was he never found his thing and just stuck with it, and lived a whole career just doing the same thing. He was constantly pushing himself and reinventing himself. You listen to early Beck with Yardbirds and fuzzed out psychedelic-y kind of bluesy kind of thing, and then we get to 70s and he's doing funk stuff and really tasteful humbuckery kind of sounds. And then he moves on to, this Strat with the tremolo and that wonderful technique, that whale kind of sound, that oceany kind of silky smooth thing. And you could really describe any of those eras and, say, oh, that's the ideal Beck sound, there's so many different things you could point to, and they're all kind of different styles and different approaches to playing guitar, but they're all equally Beck. And isn't that's just, so cool. I always, and where that fearlessness came with his sound, it was also in his gear. He was a tinkerer, he had that Esquire, and he kind of that shaved off little side to put the forearm cut, and then taking covers off of humbuckers, you know what I mean? So to get rid of the feedback, and that vision of Jeff Beck with the humbuckers with the Les Paul, and then, remember that the Telly Gibson, where he had the Telly and then he had the humbucker, the Seymour Duncans in it, and it just always searching and always never settling. And, that's it's like us, in a way. We're we are constantly, the joy of what we're doing, why this page exists and why we get so obsessed with gear. It's that constant search of, pushing ourselves and finding new avenues of expression, new things within ourselves, and finding ways to express it through music. And we're never stagnant as people, or at least we try not to be. And we want to evolve too. And I think Beck just got that need that we all have and personified it. And maybe that's why I remember there was this one tune I was trying to work on, Jeff Beck, and he's doing a head. It's a really simple head, and there was one note in that head. And every time he went to that note, he would play it that one note different. He would either slide in or hammer in or bend up into. And it's that just constantly finding new avenues of expression, even within the structure of a head that doesn't change. That's yeah, that's really really crazy. Good. Yeah. So I think that's all I really want to say about my feelings. If you don't know about Beck or you haven't listened to him, I really recommend you go out there and, you know, listen to some albums, listen to some music, and read about him. Read about the gear he used. Read about the things he did to his thing, and you'll start seeing exactly how much of an influence he had. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that being said, I'll see you all soon. Take care. Make it bye.